Welcome to the 21-day devotion toward spiritual synergy.
Hey family, so first of all, let me say this before we get started on today. Normally I would never wear a hat to do something spiritual, but today is a little bit different because while it looks beautiful outside, it's still cold out here. And so I won't be before you long, but I just wanted to tip my hat to you and kind of let you know that the only reason I got a hat on is because it's cold out here. Our brother ain't got no hair on his head, and I just want to let you know that I have enough respect for God, but I believe God would allow me to wear a hat because I'm outside. So now, thank you for joining us for today's portion of the 21-day journey towards spiritual synergy. I believe today is day 15, and today I want you to consider the book of Philippians chapter 2 and verse number 3, where Paul introduces a word that is uniquely Christian and uniquely New Testament. The word is humility, and it's this idea that humility is a prerequisite for synergy. So synergy requires humility. And family, I want you to be clear that this is not this cultural false humility where you lower your sense of self-worth, nor do you dim your light, because the Bible declares expressly that we should let our light so shine before men that they see our good works and glorify our Father which is in heaven. And humility is not about devaluing you because you are an image of God. It's not about devaluing yourself, but it is a dignified and a divine value proposition. Here's what I mean by that. I mean that God saw enough value in you that he sacrificed his son's life to save yours. Good God Almighty. Listen to me. Your life, your person, is so valuable in the sight of God that all the world's silver and gold was not enough. He thought enough of you to offer the most important thing to him, and that is his son Jesus and his life on that old rugged cross. And so when it comes to humility, it's not about devaluing yourself, but it's about seeing yourself through the lenses of God. You are fearfully and wonderfully made. You are made in the image of God, but you and everyone else who has ever been born on the face of this earth has a piece of God in them. We have all been made in the image of God. So what that tells us is you are no better than anybody else. You're not beneath anybody else, but we are all God's creation. And God created us all in his image. And so what that means, in as much as God looked at that which was his reflection and offered a sacrifice, what God tells us through the Apostle Paul in Philippians chapter 3 is that in order for us to develop the kind of spiritual synergy that is necessary for us to be who God has called us to be and do what God calls us to do, we're going to have to develop the spiritual virtue of humility. What does that look like? It looks like that you value others higher than yourself. Not that they are, but that you see them in a space where you consider them before you consider yourself. Now, don't get me wrong. If you don't know how to love yourself, you can't love someone else. So it's not this idea that you don't take care of yourself or that you neglect yourself. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't truly love anybody, including God. So here's what I want you to know. If we're going to be the kind of people that God has called us to be and have spiritual synergy, it's going to require humility. That is, that we see ourselves as a reflection of the God that we serve. And as much as Jesus Christ himself thought it not robbery to be equal with God, he's humbled himself into the form of a servant. So what Paul suggests to us is that synergy requires enough humility to be willing to become a servant. That's the word for today. I want you to know that I love you and God does too.
Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind,
regard one another as more important than yourselves.
Take a moment for prayer. Take a moment for application.